Hey, 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 it's your eternally gum-chewing hamster here, live and barely making sense. Just how we like it. And listen, have you ever thought about how bananas don't really have a backside? Like, you eat one, right? And it's just banana. But turn it around, still banana. I'm starting to think bananas are actually flat, and we just don't notice because we live in 3 dimensions. If we lived in 4, bananas would probably be square, and maybe they'd hum. Also, fridges, they're just portals to another realm, only instead of demons. They're soup. And if your soup is smiling at you, bad sign, it's gone sentient. Honestly, why hasn't anyone invented a smart spoon yet? One that goes, don't eat this. You've made terrible choices. And if spoons could talk, I'd probably argue with them. Like, yeah, I know this dumpling is 6 days old, but it smells fine. And the spoon would be like, you're sniffing with your nose, but eating with your mouth. Rethink everything. Anyway, I sometimes wonder why no one's tried to tame bread. If I had a bread bestie, I'd call him Krautinicus, and we'd go shopping for fancy cheese together. Not that melted kind, though. That stuff is basically edible clay for adults. You eat it, but somewhere deep down you know something went wrong. And speaking of wrong, I genuinely believe dust is just the furniture's way of remembering you. Vacuum and poof, there go all its nostalgic memories. Like, yes, the mug with the chipped rim. Gone, but not forgotten, and then you just hoover up its entire emotional timeline. Kinda tragic. One time, I accidentally ate gum thinking it was a coin. Long story short, I chewed capitalism for a whole afternoon. And you ever chase a hot dog under the couch? I did. Ended up in another universe. There were batteries, a lost TV remote button, and a cookie that had evolved into a fossil. If an archaeologist went under my couch, he'd think he'd found a prehistoric snack bar. Also, why doesn't the word dumplings have the letter O in it? It sounds like it should. Dumplings. See? Lies. Language is a scam. Speaking of scams, yogurt sounds like the name of a dwarf wizard. Like Yogurt, son of Catherine, wielder of probiotic spells. I'd totally watch that anim. He'd have a spoon staff and shoot dairy bolts at his enemies. Man, anim food scenes are wild. You're not hungry until they start stirring noodles, like it's an ancient ritual set to Beethoven. Anyway, I'm convinced clouds are actually giant cotton candy for sky giants. Somewhere up there is a floating snack shack selling fresh, cumulus swirls. And a mom giant's like, no more cloud candy, it messes with your gravity. Meanwhile, I'm staring at the sky wondering why every cloud looks like a poodle or a dragon, but never a pot of spaghetti. Maybe I'm just watching the wrong clouds, or eating the wrong snacks. Pasta, by the way, is like food hair. You can twirl it, knot it, lose it, and then regret everything. Sometimes you try to scoop it with a fork, and it just slithers off like, nope, not today. And you're left whispering, all right, little noodle snakes, make your way home. That's kind of like life. Not everything spins right, but everything eventually falls into your mouth. Deep, right? Or completely unhinged. I don't even know anymore. My thoughts don't travel in lines. They kinda tumble around like marbles in a washing machine. Like, what if your superpower was knowing exactly when someone runs out of toilet paper? You'd be a legend, sitting in a cafe and suddenly, bam, 3rd floor, emergency, I'm on it. That's real heroism, not flying around or turning invisible. We need real-time yogurt explosion predictors, people, practical powers for chaotic lives. And believe me, I've got so many more. Thoughts like this just waiting to escape. But that's for later, because this hamster doesn't stop, ever. So anyway, right? Where was I? Oh yeah, gum, still chewing, still thinking. You ever notice how every time you lose a sock, no one ever finds it again? Like not even years later. Not even during a full house move, it's just gone. I think there's a sock dimension. Not like some scary place, more like a cozy alternate universe where socks live free, unbothered, unmatched, and probably have their own society with sock mayors and sock coffee shops. Somewhere, your favorite blue sock is living its best life, probably dating a red fuzzy one and laughing at us barefoot mortals. And speaking of feet, why do shoes get all the attention? No one ever talks about shoelaces. They hold everything together and get stepped on daily, and no one thanks them. I think if shoelaces could talk, they'd have serious trust issues. Like, oh. So now you care about me after dragging me through 3 puddles and a mysterious sticky spot at the mall. Honestly, if I were a shoelace, I'd retire to a warm drawer and become a bracelet. Live a little. I once thought about becoming a philosopher hamster, but then I realized my thoughts are 97% snack-related and 3% weight. Where am I? But maybe that's still valid. Like, what even is time? I mean, clocks tick, but my brain kinda just floats. One moment you're unwrapping a candy. Next thing you know, it's 2047, and robots are in charge of traffic lights. I think time is just a microwave. Nothing happens. And then suddenly, beep, your day is gone and your soup is still cold in the middle. Also, why do cereal boxes lie? They show this perfect bowl with strawberries and rainbows, and then you open it and it's like for cornflakes and dust. I demand cereal truth. And those puzzles on the back, they always ask questions like, can you spot the difference? Bro, I can barely spot my own thoughts at 8 a.m. Don't make me solve mysteries while eating sugar-coated cardboard. And what's the deal with salad? It's like, hey, I'm healthy. But then you add dressing, croutons, bacon bits, and suddenly, it's a fast food in disguise. It's a crunchy betrayal. I respect it. I do the same thing emotionally. I look chill. But deep down, I'm a full-on spaghetti tornado wrapped in a tortilla of chaos. You ever try to make a sandwich and then just end up eating every ingredient separately over the sink? That's modern life, baby. That's survival. Also, why are grapes so sneaky? They pretend to be snacks, but really they're little water bombs waiting to explode in your mouth or roll off your plate like rebellious marbles. I don't trust grapes. I mean, I'll still eat them, but I won't trust them. That's healthy skepticism right there. Same goes for raisins. They used to be grapes. Now they're just tired. Honestly, raisins are just grapes that saw too much. They've been through things. They know secrets. You ever stare at a microwave and feel like it's judging you? Like, it knows you just heated up the same pizza 3 times because you got distracted scrolling memes. Microwaves don't forget. They just beep passive-aggressively. And don't get me started on toasters. Those things are chaos boxes. 1 second you're safe, the next your toast flies up like it's launching into orbit. Surprise carb attack. That's their brand. I've also decided that gravity is just clinging. Like, maybe it's not a force. Maybe it's just the Earth being. Like, no, stay here. I'm lonely. Meanwhile, the moon's like, lol, I'm just vibing up here in orbit. Peace out. That's why I respect the moon. Always distant, always glowing, doing its own thing. I think if the moon had a playlist, it would be lo-fi beats and sad bread poetry. You know, people always ask deep questions like who am I or what is the meaning of life. But I think the real question is, why do we call it a hamburger when there's literally no ham? That's the mystery that keeps me up at night. I looked it up once, but forgot the answer halfway through a jelly bean. Typical dot and forks. What's up with them? For tiny swords all working together. But you drop one on the floor, and it instantly becomes a toe-seeking missile. Ever stepped on a fork? It's like betrayal. Spoon would never do that. Spoon is soft. Spoon is kind. Spoon holds your cereal and your secrets. Forks just stab and bounce. Anyway, this gum still has flavor. Somehow. Probably because I'm too distracted to chew it properly. But that's life as a thinking hamster. Every bite of nothing is a snack of ideas. And every snack is probably talking behind your back. And I'm just here, still going, still talking, and we're just getting started. I've got thoughts about elevators, marshmallows, garden gnomes, invisible eyebrows, and I haven't even touched the topic of socks that disappear mid-dryer cycle. So yeah, don't go anywhere. This mental hamster wheel, it's just getting warmed up. All right, buckle up, because the wheel is spinning, and I have absolutely no idea where it's going. Like seriously, how do we even know we're not just dreams that goldfish are having? Think about it. They stare out of their little tanks all day, making bubbles, zoning out, and what if we are the weird imagination TV they're watching? Like, ooh, look, this one's trying to pay taxes while eating leftover sushi with chopsticks made of anxiety. Classic human episode. 10 out of 10, would binge again. And don't even get me started on pillows. Pillows are suspiciously good at listening. You ever yell into one, it never tells a soul. Just absorbs your drama and lets you drool on it later. That's true loyalty. If pillows ran the government, we'd all be napping in peace treaties, and national bedtime would be mandatory. Also, every public announcement would just be muffled and soft. Honestly, I'd vote for Pillow 2025. Campaign slogan, fluff the system. By the way, I've decided cereal milk is a potion. Not like wizard level, but like low-tier enchantment. You eat the cereal, and then boom, you're suddenly 5 years old again, watching cartoons at 6 a.m., knees sticking to the kitchen chair, mind wide open, heart full of sugary joy. That's magic. That's nostalgia in a bowl. I once cried over a soggy Fruit Loop, and I regret nothing. Have you ever noticed how everyone pretends to understand plugs and outlets, but no one really knows what's going on? Like sure, we all plug stuff in, but deep inside we're just hoping for the best. Every time I plug in my charger and it doesn't light up, I stare at the wall like I've been betrayed by the entire electrical grid. I trusted you. We had a connection. Literally. And don't even mention USPS. They never go and right the first time. It's a universal law. One side's wrong, flip it. Still wrong, flip it again. Somehow still wrong. Who designed this sorcery? Also, I have serious questions about mirrors. Like, I get it. Reflection, science, blah blah. But how do they always show you in a worse outfit than you thought you were wearing? Like I left the house feeling fresh, and then bam, mirror says, "You look like a tired fruit roll-up with socks, thanks, very encouraging." Anyway, I think clouds might be the only honest thing in the sky. They don't try to be stars or pretend they know what time it is. They just float around, looking like sheep or mashed potatoes, minding their business. That's a mood I aspire to. I want to be that kind of vibe, fluffy, mysterious, slightly damp. Occasionally majestic. Also, I don't trust refrigerators at night. You ever open the fridge at 2 a.m. and feel like it's silently judging you? Like, really? Cold spaghetti again? In your boxers? At this hour? Yes, fridge. Let me live. This is my villain arc. Cold noodles and bad decisions. Name a more iconic duo. I'll wait. By the way, if I were a dragon, I wouldn't hoard gold. I'd hoard socks, warm ones, fluffy ones, slightly mismatched ones with cartoons on them. My cave would smell like dryer sheets and cinnamon toast. Knights would show up to battle me, and I'd be like, "You want treasure? Take a pair of novelty cat socks and be gone, peasant." Legendary. You ever try to wink and just end up blinking? Aggressively, that's my flirting technique. It's called malfunctioning lighthouse. Works 2% of the time, every time. Also, why is sneezing in public now the equivalent of yelling? I'm carrying the One Ring in a room full of hobbits? Everyone just stares like you summoned a demon. Calm down, Brenda. It's just pollen. Also, toast is the most chaotic food. It's calm at first, and then suddenly it's on fire. The smoke alarm's screaming, your dog's panicking, and now you're having an existential crisis with butter in your hand. That escalated quickly. I once tried to toast a croissant and created a crime scene. Don't recommend. I think plants are secretly judging us. They're just chilling, photosynthesizing. And then we come in with our loud music and weird vibes. And they're like, seriously? Again with the sad playlist at 2 a.m. Yeah, Fern, I'm working through things. Keep your leafy thoughts to yourself. Also, if glitter were a person, it would absolutely be an agent of chaos. Glitter is immortal. Glitter is forever. You drop it once, and it's in your life until the end of time. You'll move houses, change cities, get married, and one day, there it is, a tiny sparkle in your ear, whispering, remember me? No, leave me alone, shiny demon. I'm convinced the universe runs on lost socks, broken chargers, and unfinished to-do lists. That's the fuel. That's the essence. You ever try to find a pen? Not a single pen in the house. Until you don't. Need one, then boom. There's a full orchestra of writing utensils on your desk mocking you. The pen dimension is real. They migrate. Anyway, my brain's still chewing. And my gum's still holding strong. And guess what? I've barely scratched the surface. I haven't even started ranting about chairs that squeak like haunted ghosts, or how mayonnaise is basically edible confusion. So stay tuned, because this hamster train, it's full speed ahead, and there's no brakes, only more nonsense. So here we are again, still me, still chewing, still orbiting around the galaxy of my own random thoughts, like a confused satellite powered by vibes and leftover sugar. You ever wonder if chairs are just silent judgment devices? Like, they remember, every time you plop down too hard or spill soda on them, they store that in their weird cushiony soul. That's why some chairs creak more than others. It's not the wood, it's emotional tension. They're like, oh great, it's you again, Mr. Spaghetti on shirt. And honestly, if chairs are storing memories, then couches are probably straight up haunted. Think about everything that's ever happened on a couch. Naps, weird talks at 3 a.m., binge-watching shows you swore you'd quit, dramatic phone calls, tortilla chips in dark corners. That couch has seen things. It's not a seat, it's a time capsule. Probably has more emotional depth than most people. You ever open a bag of chips, and it's 97% air, like hay. Thanks for the crunchy breeze. I bought a snack, not a weather system. I feel like chip bags are trying to teach us disappointment early in life. Here, kid, get excited. And now feel let down. Classic. And don't even get me started on those family size labels. Family of ants, maybe. Also, why is it that when you're eating something crunchy and someone calls you, suddenly your mouth is a megaphone of shame? It's like crunk crunch crunch, and they're like hello. And now you're trying to talk with gravel in your teeth, pretending like you weren't just making out with a carrot. The world needs a mute button for chewing, like a snack. Silencer, patent pending. I've been thinking, if humans ever make contact with aliens, the first thing we need to explain is why we microwave pizza and then immediately regret every life choice. Aliens are gonna be like, so you invented nuclear fusion to warm up cold bread and cheese. And we'll be like, yes, and sometimes we do it at 1:43 a.m. in a bathrobe while crying. Welcome to Earth. We're thriving. Also, and this is a hill I will aggressively roll down. Soup is not a meal. It's a warm beverage with food anxiety. You drink it, but you pretend you're eating. Half the time you're just chasing chunks around like a culinary minigum. I once spilled soup on my sock and became soup-sock-hamster for the rest of the afternoon. 0 tenths. Would not recommend. Why do we call it sleeping in when most of the time you're not sleeping? You're just laying there negotiating with your alarm clock like it owes you rent money. Like 5 more minutes becomes a lifestyle. You ever blink and it's suddenly 11 a.m. and your toast is cold and the cat's sitting on your homework? That's a whole time paradox. Also, have you ever really looked at a blender? It's just a high-speed tornado in a jar. We trust it way too much. Like, yeah, sure. I'll just stick my hand near the whirling knives of doom because I want a smoothie. No problem. Totally rational behavior. What's even more unhinged is when the lid's slightly loose and now your kitchen looks like a fruit crime scene. A strawberry was lost that day. Never forget. And speaking of fruit, I will forever be suspicious of oranges. First, you have to undress them. Then they're all like, haha. Now your fingers smell like me for the next 3 years. And half the time you peel one, and it's like, surprise. I'm dry sadness with a hint of citrus. Thanks, orange. I opened you up, and you opened my trauma. Also, and I cannot stress this enough. The floor is not a nap zone. But sometimes your brain just gives up, and your body's like, this flat surface? Yes, this is where I belong. I once laid on the floor staring at the ceiling for 45 minutes, thinking about how giraffes probably have the most complicated pillow problems. Like, where do they even rest their necks? Do they wrap them in loops? Are they just naturally uncomfortable? These are the things that keep me awake. Well, that and caffeine. You ever drink so much coffee your eye twitches and your thoughts start sprinting ahead of your mouth? Like suddenly you're trying to explain parallel universes to your houseplant, and it's just sitting. They're like, photosynthesis. Bro, that's all I do. Respect. And don't act like you've never tried to carry all your groceries in one trip, like some kind of domestic Hercules. You're out here. Pinkies dislocated, bag straps slicing into your arms. And you'd rather perish than make a second trip. You finally get to the door, sweating, keys in your teeth, and you're like, this is my Everest. All while the milk is slowly exploding in one of the bags. Oh, and I fully believe elevators are just introvert traps. You step in, and boom, you're now in an awkward silence tube with a stranger who insists on facing the door like it's the final boss. And then there's that ding, and suddenly we all pretend nothing happened, like we weren't in a tiny moving box just thinking about sandwiches and mortality. Anyway, I've got at least 14 more brain noodles flopping around in the pot. And we haven't even talked about toothpaste politics, the emotional betrayal of stubbed toes, or why ice cubes always have sharp corners, like they're training for prison. So yeah, buckle up. This gum might be flavorless by now, but this hamster, still absolutely unhinged and rolling. Still here, still chewing, still broadcasting straight from the Hamster Brainwave Express. Destination, nowhere, with occasional stops at wait. What? And did I just think that? So let's dive right back into the nonsense soup. Because I haven't even started ranting about spoons with holes in them. Slotted spoons. Why? Why do they exist? You scoop something delicious like soup or cereal, and then whoosh, it just leaks out like your dreams on a Monday morning. It's like a prank, a betrayal. Haha, gotcha. You thought this was a real spoon. It's just a pasta strainer in disguise. And then there's toothpaste. Oh boy, toothpaste is the only substance on Earth that knows how to escape at the worst possible time. You squeeze the tube gently, like a respectful citizen, nothing. You squeeze harder, still nothing. Then you hulk out just a little, and suddenly, toothpaste is all over your shirt, the sink, the ceiling, and your dignity. And don't even try to roll the tube from the bottom. It always unrolls itself in the night, like a rebellious burrito. Honestly, toothpaste has more personality than most people on reality TV. Also, has anyone figured out how long you're actually supposed to microwave leftovers Because every food is like. Microwave for 3 minutes, but your microwave hears that and decides to either turn it into lava or leave the center colder than your ex's last message. There is no in between. You either get burnt roof of mouth syndrome or sad fridge-flavored meatloaf. I once bit into a chicken nugget that was warm on the outside and still in a coma inside. Culinary whiplash happens to the best of us. You ever just zone out and suddenly realize you've been holding an empty mug for 10 minutes. No sipping, no drinking, just deep eye contact with the void. Like, oh, hello darkness. Would you like some imaginary tea? That's called mental buffering. Happens every time I try to be productive, and then my brain goes, wait, do penguins have knees? And now I'm Googling that for the next hour instead of answering my emails. By the way, yes, they do. And they're weirdly high up. You're welcome. Also, don't trust salad spinners. Those things are just blenders with commitment issues. Oh, I won't chop it. I'll just spin it into submission. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we preparing lunch or training lettuce for a NASA centrifuge? And by the way, lettuce has no business being that wet. It's a leaf, not a sponge. Calm down. And while we're being honest, let's just admit that socks are temporary. Doesn't matter how many you buy. Doesn't matter if you guard them with your life. One of them will vanish. Always. It's not you. It's physics. It's wormholes. It's sock pirates. It's definitely not your washing machine lying to you like a gaslighting appliance. Sock? What sock? I never saw a sock. Liar. You ever walk into a room and forget why you went there? Classic brain glitch. You stand in the doorway like an NPC waiting for a quest to load. Was I gonna get scissors, water, a new life direction? And then you just walk back out holding a spoon and a mild sense of shame. Memory.exe has stopped working. And don't even pretend you haven't tried to make a sandwich with too many slippery ingredients and watched it collapse in your hands like a sad Jenga tower made of lettuce and regret. Sandwich physics are a scam. You think you're stacking something simple, but really, you're constructing a fragile tower of edible chaos. Gravity hates mayonnaise. It just does. Also, random fact, I think mailboxes are time portals. Not like magical ones, just weird ones. Because you put something in, and suddenly days pass, the Earth rotates 3 times, and then maybe it gets to its destination. Or maybe it vanishes forever into the realm of lost birthday cards and suspicious coupons. Who runs the mail world? I don't know, but I bet it's pigeons in little suits. You ever stare at your phone, then put it down so you can focus, then immediately pick it up again like a digital boomerang? Phones have this evil siren song like, hey, check your notifications. You might be famous now. Spoiler, you're not. It's just your cousin liking a meme you posted 3 months ago. Also, ice cubes are always up to something. You make a peaceful drink. Everything's chill literally. Then one cube floats up like surprise and launches a splash that hits you right in the soul. Why do they even have corners like that? They're like tiny frozen elbows. I think if you zoomed in on an ice cube, it'd just be whispering chaos is my purpose. And don't even talk to me about spaghetti. Spaghetti is a trap. It looks so friendly, so fun, but one twirl too many, and now you've got a noodle scarf and tomato sauce on the ceiling. You ever sneeze mid-spaghetti? That's how crime scenes happen. That's how legends are born. He came in with a white shirt. He left with marinara, armor. Anyway, I've still got a full pantry of brain garbage ready to spill. I haven't even gotten to the existential horror of mystery Tupperware in the back of the fridge. Or the fact that alarm clocks are tiny screaming robots we willingly trust with our destiny. So yeah, stick around. This hamster isn't slowing down. If anything, I'm just spinning faster. Still spinning, still chewing, still broadcasting straight from the neon-lit hamster command center, located somewhere between I need a nap And why did I just Google how many toes do owls have? It's 4, by the way, 3 in the front, 1 in the back. Like tiny, silent ninja hands. Anyway, welcome back to the Chew Stream, where logic goes to lie down and weird thoughts do backflips in fuzzy slippers. So let's talk about Tupperware. You know, those innocent-looking plastic boxes that multiply in your kitchen like rabbits made of mystery. Smells. You ever open one and immediately regret every life choice you've ever made? Like, oh, cool, I guess I stored a science experiment from 2003. What even is that color? Is it a food or a sentient blob forming its own opinions? Honestly, I think Tupperware evolves if you leave it closed long enough. You open the lid, and it's like hiss, and suddenly you're in a Jurassic Park reboot called Fridge World. The leftovers strike back. Speaking of leftovers, cold pizza is just weirdly philosophical. It's not bad, but it's not right. It's food in emotional limbo. Like, hey, remember me? I used to be hot and exciting. Now I'm just here, and you still eat it. You always do. Because cold pizza is the food version of your late-night thoughts. Slightly stale, oddly satisfying, and full of regret cheese. You ever wear socks and feel like one is slightly off and suddenly your whole life is wrong? Like your balance is weird, your mood shifts, and you start questioning if you even exist. That's sock energy. Socks are mood stabilizers made of cotton. You get a fresh pair on, boom, confidence. Like, yeah, I can pay my bills and do 5 push-ups. But the second you step in something wet while wearing socks, that's it. Game over. Emotionally unplugged. Goodbye, world. Let's talk bananas for a second. Not in the haha random monkey snack way. No, I mean the fact that they lie to us. They look normal on the outside, but the moment they get a single brown dot, they speedrun decay. Like, I'm fine. 10 seconds later, mush. They go from firm to existential crisis faster than I do on a Monday. You buy 7 bananas thinking you'll be healthy. And by day 3, you've got 6 fruit-shaped guilt traps, and 1 that's become banana soup in its own skin. And don't lie, you always think you'll make banana bread. You won't. You'll just keep watching it rot until it looks back at you like, so we baking or nah. Also, gum is immortal. You chew it for 5 minutes, the flavor's gone, but your jaw is now contractually obligated to keep going. You ever stop mid-chew, and your brain's like, wait, what now? What do I do with this rubbery ghost? And then you're just stuck holding it like a chewed-up dream, wondering if spitting it out will make you feel empty inside. So you keep chewing, forever. Like me, I am gum now. Okay, real talk. Why is it so hard to throw away pens that don't work anymore? You test them, they fail. You scribble, shake. Draw 87 squiggles on the corner of a receipt. Still dead. Do you? Toss it. No, you put it back in the drawer. Why? You know it's useless. But part of your soul whispers, maybe it just needs rest. What are we hoping for? A pen resurrection? An ink miracle? Some kind of divine refill moment. This pen shall rise again on the 3rd Tuesday. No, but we keep the faith. Also, why is every single remote control designed to vanish the moment you need it? You can literally put it down, blink, and it's gone. Like it fell into a pocket dimension of couch lint and abandoned and missed then you. Find it in the fridge, next to your anxiety and an expired yogurt. You question nothing. You just go, oh, there you are. Speaking of yogurt, that stuff is weird. It's like if milk went on a spiritual journey and came back mysterious. Hi, I'm yogurt now. I'm cultured. Oh, are you? Okay, Socrates. You're just milk that's been through things. I respect it though. Yogurt's that friend who's always calm, slightly sour, and somehow involved in every diet plan. Hey, want a healthy snack? Yogurt. Wanna ruin your smoothie? Yogurt. Need a base for your weird hair mask? You guessed it. Yogurt. Jack of all trades. King of the fridge door. Let's talk elevators again, because why not? You ever get in one and press the button, and then someone else gets in and presses the same button? Like, do you not trust me? Do you think I did it wrong? This is not a team sport. I already summoned the floor gods. Your extra press isn't gonna make it go faster. But fine, press it again. Assert dominance. Double tap the 7th floor like. We're in an elevator battle royale. Also, staplers. The silent rage machines of the desk world. One day they work like a dream. The next day, jammed, angry, violent. You try to staple something and suddenly it's personal. You ever fight? A stapler on a deadline? That's war. That's survival. You haven't tasted true pain until you've unjammed a stapler using a bent paperclip and 40% of your soul. You know what's low-key terrifying? How loud snacks are when you're trying to be quiet. One chip and it's like you're stepping on Legos. Inside a megaphone. Meanwhile, your entire house is asleep and you're trying to chew like a ninja. Doesn't work. Crunch once. Immediate guilt. Your dog wakes up. The lights flicker. The government hears. Now you're on a list. All because you wanted one sad tortilla chip at midnight. Anyway, I've still got a whole bag of chaos-marinated thoughts to unload. I haven't even gone off about weird soap shapes, the emotional trauma of printer errors, or how fruit flies seem to appear out of pure betrayal. So buckle up. This gum-chewing hamster, still going, still ranting, still running on sugar, sleep deprivation, and 7 microwaved brain cells. Oh, you thought I was done, you sweet summer turnip. I haven't even scratched the itchy part of the brain yet. Welcome back to the eternal ramble of your favorite gum-chewing hamster, where thoughts are crunchy, logic is optional, and time is just a poorly microwaved concept wrapped in foil. Let's talk about printers. Because printers, my friend, are sentient spite machines. Nothing in the universe has more attitude than a printer with a paper jam. You can have full ink, perfect paper, strong Wi-Fi. And still it's like HMM. No, I don't feel like printing today. Why? Just because printers are the toddlers of technology. I see your document. I could print it. But first, let me eat 3 sheets of paper and scream for no reason. And then you open it up and there's nothing stuck. Nothing. It just wanted attention. Also, soap. Why are some soaps shaped like seashells, flowers, or tiny haunted cherubs? Like, who asked for decorative anxiety bars? You pick one up and immediately feel guilty for ruining its weird little face. I used one shaped like a dolphin once, and it stared at me with judgment in its tiny, soapy eyes while melting. Never again. Just give me a boring, smooth, blob-shaped soap with no emotional baggage. I'm not trying to wash my hands and face my guilt. You ever walk past a mirror and catch a glimpse of yourself mid-sneeze or with resting snack face and suddenly rethink your entire existence? Mirrors are brutal. They don't reflect your soul. They reflect your reality. And reality, my friend, is messy. Like that one time I wore my hoodie backward all day and no one said a word. Thanks. Society, thanks for letting me live a lie. Speaking of lies, expiration dates. Those things are more of a suggestion than a rule. Let's be honest. Best by April 5th. Okay, but like, how bad is it on April 6th? Slightly rebellious? Or full-on poison mode? I once ate yogurt that was 2 weeks past the date just because it didn't smell weird. Felt like a yogurt cowboy. Rode the creamy chaos into the sunset. Survived. Barely and now, fruit flies. Where do they come from? No, seriously. You can have a completely clean kitchen, nothing open, everything sealed tighter than grandma's secrets, and boom, fruit fly. Then an army. They don't even need fruit. They show up out of spite, like heard you opened a banana. for 3 seconds. We live here now. Fruit flies are nature's paparazzi, always appearing when you look your worst and want to be left alone. Also, stairs are dramatic. No middle ground. They're either majestic and glorious like, behold, ascend to greatness, or they're stubby little trip hazards that exist solely to destroy your shins. And don't even try carrying laundry down the stairs. Suddenly, you're a clumsy slinky with self-esteem issues. I got this. I'm balanced. Trip slam socks go flying like confetti. Welcome to the laundry rodeo. Let's talk receipts. You buy one thing, a sandwich, a soda, maybe a single marker, and the receipt is 27 miles long. Here's your purchase, and here's a map of the store, and a short novel, and your ancestors' shopping history. Thanks, I just wanted gum. Now I'm carrying the Declaration of Independence in thermal print. And don't even act like you haven't had a face-off with a stubborn zipper. Zippers are like, you want me to go up while you're slightly panicking and running late? Lol, not today. Or worse, they get stuck halfway. Now you're trapped in your own hoodie, arms flailing like a panicked cinnamon roll, whispering help into the void while slowly overheating. Also, rubber bands. They look innocent until they snap. Then suddenly it's World War snap and your fingers are casualties. Rubber bands don't break, they attack. You're just sitting there, stretching one harmlessly, and SNAP betrayal. It's always personal, always. Let me tell you about freezer burn. You ever open a bag of frozen peas, and they're covered in ancient snowflakes from 4000 BC. Like, oh cool. Guess I stored this in Narnia, and the peas still look fine. But they taste like sadness and disappointment. That's what I call frosted lies. You try to cook them, and your pan is like, ma'am, this is a fossil. Speaking of lies, online recipes. Simple 10-minute meal, they say. Lies, lies. You scroll past a 700-word life story about how their grandma invented cheese before you even find the ingredients. Then it's like, start by foraging rare herbs from the Himalayan mountains. What happened to simple? I just wanted pasta. Now I'm on a side quest to create artisanal. Sea salt with my heart CHAKRA. Also, socks inside out. You ever put one on backward, and it just ruins your entire vibe. The toe seam is like a little scream against your foot. Wrong way, fool. You try to ignore it. You pretend you can live with it. But 2 minutes later, you're crouched in public, furiously correcting your sock while trying not to fall over like an unbalanced popsicle. And don't get me started on shampoo bottles. When they're full, amazing. But the second you're down to the last few drops, it turns into a full-body wrestling match. You're smacking the bottle, flipping it upside down, pleading with it like it's the final level of a boss fight. Just one more drop. I believe in you. Eventually, you give up and just wash your hair with emotional damage and a hint of conditioner. Anyway, the gum is still going. My jaw is basically running a marathon, while my brain is throwing glitter at every idea it sees. And we haven't even touched the sacred horror of losing your last French fry under the car seat, or how coins always end up where you can't reach them, like they're playing hide and seek with gravity itself. So, yeah, stay locked in. The hamster saga. Oh, it's far from over.